He tried
There
to
he
pull his little
goes.
boy
He's
away
getting
when he
so
told a
big.
stranger mommy.
He
What she
is,
did next
our little
turned their
boy.
entire world upside down. And the truth? He never saw it coming. If you believe love, fate, and forgiveness still exist in this world, smash that subscribe button right now, because this story will leave your heart shattered and whole at the same time. Ethan Reynolds had never imagined fatherhood would come wrapped in so much grief, exhaustion, and quiet, aching love all at once, especially after losing his wife, Laura, just 2 years after their son, Jamie, was born. The cancer came quick and unforgiving, and in the small Pennsylvania town of Maple Hill, he was known not just as the town mechanic but the widowed single dad who never smiled anymore. And it wasn't that he didn't want to smile, it was just that every time Jamie laughed, every time he reached for someone's hand in the grocery store thinking it was her, Ethan's soul cracked a little more. Jamie was now 6 and bright-eyed, always asking questions, always wondering why he didn't have what the other kids had, especially moms at the PTA meetings and birthday parties and the Christmas choir where every kid had a mother except him, and though Ethan tried to fill the space with double the love, he couldn't give what he didn't have. So when Jamie saw a woman in the park on a bright Saturday morning, sitting alone feeding birds in a pristine white suit that looked too expensive for their small town, his little legs ran toward her before Ethan could stop him, and in front of everyone, including the neighbors and some mothers from Jamie's school, he said, "Will you be my mommy for a day? Just today? Just until my daddy isn't so sad anymore." And Ethan rushed over, face burning, apologizing profusely, grabbing Jamie's hand while muttering that he didn't mean it and they should go, but the woman, calm, regal, eyes as sharp as emeralds, said, "Why not?" and stood up, brushed off her suit, knelt down to Jamie's level and smiled like someone who hadn't forgotten how, and the next few hours turned into a blur of laughter, sandwiches, playground games, and the most genuine joy Ethan had seen on his son's face since Laura died. Still, Ethan was cautious, confused, and a little resentful that someone could walk into their lives so easily and stir emotions he had buried, so he politely tried to end the day quickly, thanking the woman who introduced herself only as Elle. But Jamie wouldn't let go of her hand, and Elle promised to visit again the next weekend, and she did, and the weekend after that, and the next, becoming this warm, unexpected constant in their lives, never asking for anything, never explaining herself, just showing up, until Ethan, against his better judgment, found himself counting down the days until Saturday too. Soon, Jamie was sleeping through the night again, his school performance improved, he started smiling in pictures, and Ethan realized Elle wasn't just healing his son, she was mending him too, piece by broken piece, and yet there was a mystery behind her. No social media, no car, no mention of family, no job, just expensive clothes, impeccable grace, and the kind of listening silence that made you feel safe. And one rainy day, while fixing a busted engine in the shop, Ethan casually asked her why she always wore white, to which she replied, "Because I spent most of my life in black," and walked off before he could press further. But the truth came crashing in weeks later when Jamie's school announced a Mothers and Mentors Day and Elle insisted on coming, not just attending but organizing it behind the scenes, securing donations, sponsors, volunteers, and making it the most elegant event Maple Hill Elementary had ever seen, with bouquets, lighting, custom cupcakes and printed programs. And only after the local news ran a small story on the event did Ethan's phone start ringing off the hook with people asking if he knew who she really was, and when he googled her name, Elle Summers, he dropped his phone because there it was: Forbes, Time, Wall Street Journal articles on Eleanor L. Summers, the youngest self-made female CEO in American tech history, a billionaire known for disappearing from the public eye after a high-profile court battle with her ex-husband in a personal tragedy involving her younger sister's death in foster care. And Ethan suddenly saw the pieces fit together: her connection to children, her need for healing, her avoidance of crowds, the way she poured herself into Jamie like she was trying to rewrite a chapter in her own past. Shaken, Ethan confronted her, asking why she didn't tell them, what she was doing here pretending to be someone she wasn't, and Elle, hurt but poised, said, "I wasn't pretending. I was finally being real. You and Jamie are the first real things I've had in years." And though Ethan wanted to believe her, his pride and confusion pushed her away, and she left town quietly the next morning without saying goodbye, leaving behind a small box for Jamie with a note that read, "Every superhero deserves a cape. Yours is on the way. Love, Mommy for a day," and inside was a custom-tailored blue cape with Jamie's name embroidered in gold and a letter that made Ethan cry so hard he couldn't breathe, because it wasn't just for Jamie, it was for him too, telling him he was the bravest man she had ever met, raising a boy with nothing but love and strength, and that if he ever wanted more, for Jamie, or for himself, he knew where to find her. Months passed, seasons changed, Jamie asked about her less but never forgot, and one Christmas Eve, after closing up the shop late, Ethan found Jamie asleep in the back seat with the cape wrapped around him like a blanket and a letter he had secretly mailed addressed to Elle, written in crayon, saying, "Dear Mommy for a day, I don't want it to be just a day anymore. And something in Ethan broke wide open. He packed bags, loaded Jamie into the truck and drove 5 hours to the New York City address she had once scribbled on a napkin, and standing in the marble lobby of a skyscraper he never imagined he'd enter, holding Jamie's hand, he asked the front desk to page L. Summers and was told she no longer worked there, had resigned quietly months ago. But then a woman approached from the elevator, in jeans and sneakers, and it was her, eyes wide, hands trembling, and when Jamie yelled "Mommy!" across the marble floor, she dropped everything and ran, arms wide open, and from that day forward, Elle didn't just visit on weekends. She moved to Maple Hill, bought the local tech center, hired half the town, opened a children's foundation in her sister's name, and most of all, she became the kind of mother Jamie had dreamed of and the woman Ethan never believed he'd be lucky enough to love again. And when she stood under the arch of yellow leaves behind the Reynolds house months later, in